Thank you, Mary, and thank you to Governor Jerry Brown. It's a great pleasure to see you again. Thank you, Rachel Brunson, and all the distinguished members of the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientist, and distinguished guest media and gathered here today. As our chair of the elders, Mary Robinson, has just said, it is also for me an honor to be here today to unveil the Doomsday Clock, but with the solemn sense of duty and moral responsibility, and also frightening sense of what is happening in this world without any governance structures of global disarmament of nuclear weapons. These are perilous times. The alarming rise in tensions in the Middle East threatens war, and the return to nuclear weapons development in Iran. The world waits to see how North Korea will respond to stalled negotiations over the nuclear ambitions. In that regard, I'm just struck to hear the news released by North Korea that it would not be committed to previously made nuclear disarmament. This is a denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula. This is again very, very surprising and shocking that North Korea is now officially made it happen on Tuesday. The situation in Kashmir between nuclear-armed Pakistan and India remains unpredictable and highly dangerous. Such tensions demands responsible global leadership. But instead, over the last year, we have seen precisely the opposite. We have seen termination of the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty, division and uncertainty regarding the upcoming review conference of the NPT, and most worryingly, the absence of any meaningful negotiations between the United States and Russia to extend New START. It would send a deeply negative message to the world if a New START is allowed to expire in February next year, 2021. This would not only eliminate the remaining constraints on deployed nuclear arsenals, but also remove the monitoring and inspection capabilities, which have provided both sides with increased transparency regarding nuclear capability. On the Nuclear Proliferation Treaty, the elders believe the world must seize the opportunities presented by the review conference that begins in April. This treaty is the backbone of the multilateral consensus on nuclear arms control, and yet disagreement and frustrations between its signatories mean there is a significant risk that the conference could conclude without an agreed outcome, like what had happened in 2015. That's a scenario that would undermine the treaty and could even trigger withdrawal by other member states. Alongside the potential expiry of New START, there is a disastrous scenario for the world. It exemplifies the failures of global leadership and the weakness of the multilateral system in the face of isolationist politics that sees diplomacy as a zero-sum game rather than a means of finding common solutions to common challenges. At a time when world leaders should be focused on the clear and present dangers of nuclear escalation and the climate emergency, climate crisis, we are instead witnessing denial, disregard, and dangerous brinksmanship. The existential risk of climate change and nuclear war are increasing just as the decision-making frameworks to address them are unraveling from the Paris Agreement on Climate Change to the JCPOA, Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, despondency of the Non-Proliferation Treaty to impotency at the United Nations Security Council, our mechanisms for collaboration are being undermined when we need them most. To echo Mary Robinson, we must see urgent action on the climate crisis in 2020. All countries must come to COP26 in Glasgow in November with clear plans and strong commitment for delivering carbon net zero commitment by 2050. We must see an immediate end to the investment in and exploration of fossil fuels. We must heed the demands of the young people on our streets and listen to the science. We cannot negotiate with the nature. We also have to listen to the warning of nature. The United States must somehow begin to demonstrate global leadership at the federal level too. Without it, we cannot hope to meet the targets that will keep global warming to manageable levels. Without US leadership and participation, there will be no winners from this climate crisis. We will all become losers. In the end, we will only overcome these existential threats by working together, and to do so, the world needs to re-energize multilateralism. I do believe there is an opportunity to this in this coming year. As a former Secretary General, I am deeply concerned by the fact that multilateralism is now under serious attack by those countries, particularly most powerful country, who has been playing global leadership based on this global governing framework, multilateralism, the United Nations, which is symbolized by this multilateralism. Ladies and gentlemen, 2020, this year, marks 75 years since the end of the Second World War and the birth of nuclear age, and indeed the founding of the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists. It also marks, most importantly, 75th anniversary of the founding of the United Nations. This is an opportunity for the world leaders and citizens to renew its commitment to multilateralism. It is a time for world leaders to bring a new mindset with a global citizenship to the key moments ahead of us in 2020, to create the foundation for a just transition to carbon net zero economy and redouble the efforts towards a world free of nuclear weapons. We can overcome these existential threats we face, but we must act together. We must work together. There's not a single country or individual, however powerful, however resourceful one may be, can do it alone. We have to all our hands on deck. We have all worked together. Ladies and gentlemen, let us work to address these two existential threats, nuclear threat as well as climate crisis. Thank you.